Well, that brings our discussion of confessions to a close, those 3 classes. And I'd like to once more just kind of warmly welcome anyone who is thinking about coming and joining our class in person. It's one thing to be able to get to watch the episodes online later, and they're super fun. And thank you everyone for your support in that regard. But having the kind of in-class, in-person thing, not just the interactions with myself and my take on Augustine, and then you as the individual person back and forth, but with your peers and kind of everyone. And I use that word definitely, intentionally, with intentionality, peers, like whether we're college students or retired folk or anywhere in between. In the course of that class, like just, talk about an American hope or an American thing of just like pure egalitarianism and everyone kind of on the same page. So it's really fun. And I find that just extremely intellectually stimulating, getting to talk about this stuff and bounce ideas back and forth. And I think that, okay, well, we've covered 7 episodes now, right, of this year of St. Augustine, 9 hours or 10 hours total. It's going to be 36 or 40 episodes total, taking us 50, 60 hours come May 2025. This would be the perfect time to come and join the class if you haven't done so already. If you're wondering, like, should I come just like jump into the class now at this point in the semester, late September, getting close to October soon? Yeah. And the reason is we just finished confessions right now, but we're starting City of God. There's no, I think, better introduction to St. Augustine than City of God, really. No totality, no kind of like full masterclass on him than City of God. There's a reason why we're doing that book for 5 weeks. It's not just because of the length. That certainly is a factor, but it deserves that kind of very detailed, specific treatment. So yeah, just once more kind of warmly inviting you to come, because what have we done so far? We did the whole introduction to the man, right? I think got a lot of the biographical details of import out of the way, and then just finished Confessions, this incredible spiritual biography that I'm going to sum up in a second. I think 3 classes down, I'm going to kind of go over freestyle some of the main points I think that were of specific note that you should note. All the intro done, those first 3 or 4 classes, 3 classes of confession, 7 classes down. No better time than to come now and just dive headlong into Augustine with City of God. And what an amazing springboard for the stuff that we'll cover later on. After Christmas break into the spring, this full kind of 50-hour set total, right? To sum up confessions, we had something like 135 or 140 points total on the board in the classes. What are some of the most salient points, I think? The true kind of personal relationship between a person and God. The idea of one of the many things that separates Christianity from all different faiths is that God is the active agent, right? It's not, I'm going to learn some formulas or mantras or whenever I get closer to God, I'm going to do my best, but by my efforts. No, it's the grace of God from on high. The ultimate example of that being Christ's death and resurrection, Christ's work on the cross. So Augustine really brings that out in Confessions. Personal relationship with God. God is the active ingredient. God's providence never gives up on people, right? God knows how everything's going to play out. He gives everyone sufficient grace to amend their lives and turn to him. And that's probably point number 4, this freestyle thing, is that Augustine asks at one point, is my own spiritual biography going to be helpful for people down the road? And he concludes, yeah, because the things that I struggled with, others will as well, and by the grace of God, they too can overcome them. And so a 5th point, I think really a very, very modern, if not postmodern saint, Augustine. It's weird to say that, a man who lived at the tail end of the Roman Empire 16 centuries ago, but someone in who this constant fight with sexual sin, grant me chastity, Lord, just not yet. This constant fight, which is a fight that many people today fight in different, under the guise of different expressions of that. Very, very apropos, very, very good saint for now. If people, look around, they're like, oh, our society is A, B, C, D, all these problems, a whole laundry list of all these issues. Augustine went through a very, very similar thing, a decadent, given to your passions type society, tail end society of a very grand experiment, the Roman Empire. There are a lot of kind of like interesting parallels to what is going on in our country today. So he's super, I don't want to say appropriate, I'm looking for even a better word than that, relevant, super kind of like relevant reading for today. But that theme that goes through once more again is that in this first kind of grand spiritual biography, spiritual testimony, personal faith journey story, self-help book, because what you're struggling with, I struggle with first, Augustine says, the constant focus on God as the moving agent, God's grace, God's providence. So I can't think of a better way to segue into City of God than with that thought. Indeed, right, the fallen city of man careens on through history, but God has a plan. God has a plan for your life, and the ultimate plan is the triumph of the City of God.